morning, everyone. I'm Brittany.
I'm Tiffany.
And we're the Terra Girls. Thanks for tuning in.
Ooh, rusty.
We're a little awkward today. It's the transitions, okay? It's the transitions that always get us. Tiffany just recently got back from a really great trip, so we've just been catching up and telling each other all of the ideas that we have for Terra events and fun things we want to do in the future. So, tell me about your health transition. Health check.
Health check.
All right.
Okay, so like Brittany mentioned, I was in New England for the past 10 days. So I was in Boston, up in Portland, Maine, and then in Acadia National Park in Maine. And so I got a lot of steps in this week, guys. A lot of steps.
So you may have beat me?
Yes, although, I feel like I'm missing some of my biggest step days because that was over 4th of July weekend. So now my watch has moved on to the next,
Yeah. We look at our rolling 7-day average of our steps.
So it's kind of missing my really big days.
We believe you.
We
believe that you had big step days.
My average, 14,108.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
My average is 13,294.
Okay. Hey, that was close.
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot more running recently.
Yeah, so I've been, I'm training for a marathon, and so I've kind of upped my mileage a little bit for the first time in a while, just consistently upped it. And yeah, I had a longer run this weekend, so that's where I get up, I get credit for all
that
this.
and then Rocky.
Yeah, Yeah. How about your water?
Okay, so I have been drinking a lot of water, especially because, I was doing a lot of walking on this trip, and just needed a ton of water. So I had my Nalgene with me, and I was filling it up and drinking tons of it. The last day of my trip before, flying home, went on a hike in the morning, got in the car, drove from Acadia back down to Boston, which is only 4.5 hours if all is well. And it did the thing where, I had drank water before leaving and then didn't have any more left in the car for this drive.
Stranded.
In the car, I should have just gotten water.
Right.
I should have been whatever, I'm thirsty, I'm pulling off and going to the gas station, I was trying to power through. By the end of this drive, I was getting a migraine. I was nauseous. I felt so bad.
Not worth it.
Not worth it. Got in the hotel, put a Nude in my water. I'm telling you, Nude needs to sponsor us. Drank my water, laid on the bed for a bit, and then felt better.
Wow.
Dehydration, it'll get you.
It's real. Yeah.
But I had been drinking tons of water up until that point. That day just got me.
Yeah. Then your body kind of gets used to being hydrated. So I feel then when you're not, you start to feel it.
Yeah, and it's just up there. It wasn't, it's still summer.
Right.
So it's still hot, but it's not as hot as it is here.
Yes.
And the humidity's not as bad, and so you don't realize you're sweating as much as you're sweating. So you think,
at least here, your shirt will tell you that you're sweaty all day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so it's also the thing where you don't realize you're as dehydrated as you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, lesson learned, right?
Oh, well, maybe. Seems to happen to me periodically.
Until next time. Yeah. I have been, you guys finally, it's seeped in. You guys finally taught me a lesson. As I've been running more, I have really been keeping track of my water.
Yes.
I really like that on my Garmin, the goal changes based on how much water you lost on a run.
Yeah,
so if you run more, the goal is twice as high. So I feel that is really relevant to me that day, and I try to stick with that goal. So I've been keeping track of my water intake. A day I did a long run, the goal was over 100 ounces.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And I did it.
Were you what?
Honestly, I have been really surprised that once I start drinking, I get through a Nalgene, and then I do a Nude, and then I do another Nalgene. It really breaks it up. So I'll drink a core power drink, and then a Nude, and if you can break it up, I feel it's less of a chore.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's easier for me to drink when it's this hot. I can totally see on cool days, I'm I'm fine.
Yeah.
In the winter.
Oh, yeah, seriously.
Winter, what's that? I think that running more has really changed my health check statistics.
Yeah.
I've been walking a lot more. I've had to eat more.
Okay. Yeah. Well, because you're doing a lot.
Feel that you're always hungry, or you like that?
Oh, yeah. If I'm running more, I am literally ravenous.
Yeah.
And then I'm is this normal
Right.
And it is to a point. It is.
Yeah.
You don't want to go crazy overboard because that can be a problem. But yeah, you're just like
you need to fuel more all the time. Last night was like, I need meat. I need to eat protein.
That's real.
I was like craving protein. So yeah, it has made me, my body is telling me for sure that I need to fuel and drink water. So let us know in the comments how many steps you had this week, your average, or what you had today. How are you doing with drinking water? Are you like me and you finally caught on? This is, well, maybe it won't be forever. As soon as the weather breaks, I'll be like, water, what? Yeah. But are you drinking water? Do you have any tips? Does it help to have like a good water bottle? Does it help to break it up with some Noon or different flavored stuff? So tell us in the comments.
All right, so like I said, been mentioned, just went on a trip, which was awesome, and got some really good runs in on my trip. But also was inspired by, if you haven't checked out our blog on our website, terrarunning.com/blog, Asher wrote a really cool blog about some of his favorite places that he's run in the world. He is a world traveler. His girlfriend Celine's from Germany, so I feel like he gets to Europe more than most.
Yeah.
But he goes all over, and he kind of gave us a little snapshot of a run that they took in Paris, and then some other runs that he's been on. But I also love to run while I'm on vacation.
Yep.
When I can. It's a great way to explore a new place, and just to kind of keep your routine a little bit. But yeah, so we decided, hey, let's talk about running on vacation, because I think some people definitely do, some people don't. Curious what you guys do, what that looks like for you all. But we figured we'd give you some of our tips and talk about some of our favorite places that we've run or recently ran. So we both kind of went on some cool trips this summer, and then in that have been talking about like, oh yeah, a couple years ago I did this run and this run, and I just really feel like running in a new place is such a unique way to explore it, you know, that you can't get on a tour or in the car. So yeah, tell us about your tips. Okay, so packing. You know, start at the beginning. You haven't even left yet. You need to pack. You're like, I'm gonna run on this trip. What do you bring? Well, obviously your running gear, but you've got limited space. So I want to hear your tips too. Tell us your tips as well. For me, I flew super budget. This is how I ended up on New England in Boston. It was like, oh, cheap flight from Knoxville up to Boston. Let's do it. I just like to explore new places. But it was the kind of thing where it's like, I've got one carry-on and the personal item. So, and that's like it. And I was doing city, and then I was doing camping for like a decent, it was like half city, half
You need to bring
camping.
all your clothes.
Exactly.
I mean,
seriously, it was like a challenge. It's a real challenge, because you have to bring stuff that you can wear in a city, and then stuff that you are going to want to hike in and camp in. And so shoes are also an issue, right? Because they take up so much room. And so what I landed on shoe-wise, because if you're running, you know us. We're gonna tell you need shoes, but you need shoes. You can't be just running in whatever.
Casual.
I landed on my Cloud Ultras, so that is, we've showed you guys that shoe here before. It's one of On's trail shoes. But it actually also could, it's a pretty good hybrid shoe if you need it to be. And so I was like, I can run in the city in this, but also I'm going to use these as like my hiking shoes. So I didn't pack hiking boots because they took up too much room. And they performed really well. I was really proud of them. They did great. So if you don't have a lot of room, I would recommend trying to find a shoe that's going to do well both on a trail and in the city. I would prioritize trail if you're doing some technical hiking, because you don't want to be the person that's wearing really bad shoes slipping down all the rocks. But that was a good shoe. I know we have a couple shoes here that would work on. Also, the Cloud Vista would work really well. The Outroad, when it's back, will work really well. There's some good,
the Brooks Caldera.
Yes, there's some really good like hybrid shoes that'll work for you.
I also recommend, I don't generally in my life wear my running shoes around. But when I do travel, I will wear them through the airport and then just put like my sandals in your carry-on. So they're big, you know, your running shoes are bulkier. Wear them through the airport because you're going to be walking a lot anyway.
Yep.
And then just put like your flip-flops or your Divas or whatever in your carry-on.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
Yeah.
Saves space. It's like the thing where you put all the layers on.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a snowman in the summer.
Yeah.
And then, you will want to probably pack a little bit of laundry detergent because here's the thing. If you're like me, you sweat a ton, right? So you're gonna want to be packing your shorts. You want to be packing your sports bras if you're a woman. You're going to want to be packing like all the stuff that you need to run, but you can't pack a week's worth of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I usually don't run every day if I'm traveling, but
me neither.
It will be unusable when I'm done. It is sweaty and disgusting. Throw it in the sink. Put a little laundry detergent in it. I mean, worst comes to worst, use some dish soap wherever you're at. I mean, just whatever, and just rinse it. You know, do the best you can, wring it out, and hang it up.
That's brilliant. I've never done that.
Yeah, it will take longer to dry than you think it will.
Right, because it's like so.
But make sure you bring your moisture wicking stuff, and it'll dry a lot faster.
I always try to bring things I can wear more than once when I'm traveling, but running clothes, man, they sure get stinky.
I washed mine like two times on this trip. I had like maybe 2 or 3-ish, because I was hiking too, so that kind of like crossed over.
Yeah.
But I definitely had to do the sink wash.
Brilliant
thing. And then you'll want some good socks too.
Yes.
If you're gonna be on the beach and you're gonna get sand, you're gonna want more socks than if you're going somewhere else.
Yes.
But make sure you pack some good socks. I mean, packing's rough. I think the biggest thing is be strategic with your shoes.
Yeah.
And then maybe plan on doing a load of laundry.
Yeah.
Even if it's in the sink.
That's super smart. I've never done laundry in the sink, but definitely could have. I went to Portland, Oregon this summer, and again, same thing. It wasn't nearly as hot as it is here, of course. Very mild, but I did some longer runs, and then I would like spend the day exploring in those clothes and could not wear them again. So then the whole suitcase is just stinky when I get back.
Yeah, also pack Febreze.
Yeah.
So a little laundry detergent, a little Febreze. Because that will help you.
Yeah. So when I was in Portland, I wanted to run in the city, but then I also was looking for like some trails, right? Like it's so different out there. In the Pacific Northwest that I wanted to find some like big trees and mountains and stuff. So this is a tip I got from Asher actually. I don't know if he mentioned it in his blog, but I use the heat map on Strava. So if you have the Strava app, even the free version, you can go to maps and you can see a heat map. So the lines are darker where people do most of their runs. It's really interesting to look at Cleveland too. But when I'm in a new place, I look at the heat map and I can see where people run, right? I don't need to be like forging my own path in a new city, right? I want to run where people run. So that's what I did to find some like safe, easy routes in the city. Yeah. And then I also found a really cool park on the map. So I just was exploring the heat map and found this cool park that had trails. And I took the public transportation to that park, and I ran there, and it was super cool, but I definitely wouldn't have found the running trails had I not been looking at that heat map. Another app I know we've mentioned is All Trails.
Yeah, that's also really cool.
Yeah, what I really like about that is the reviews. You can see like real people say, oh, on this day it was rainy, or actually it's closed now, or, I brought my dog, or whatever. So go to All Trails wherever you are, and it'll show you all of the trails, all trails, near you. So you can sort it by, trails or running routes, things like that.
Yeah, because it still has things like, the Greenway when you get on there. It's not just going to be like trails in the mountains. It'll also be paths.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a really good thing because when you're in a new place, it's hard to know where to run.
Right.
And I think that's the thing too. If you're in a new place, it can also feel like, is it safe?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's a good question to ask, right? Like it's one thing if you're going to be running on the beach versus I was just in Boston. Is it safe for me to go on a run outside my hotel and run around the city?
Yeah.
Especially as women, that's a concern. So I guess I'm not an expert on this. Tell me if you guys have some great safety tips. I know for me, I would try to go with someone if I can. So I was with my friend Hannah on this trip, and she also runs, and so we went on a run around together, and it was great. It was also not the first day of our trip, so we had a vibe for the city at that point.
Yeah, definitely.
So I wouldn't just be like, oh, I'm here, like I arrived at midnight, now it's 6 a.m. the next morning, I'm going to go.
Right.
maybe not the best idea unless you've been there before, you know people, get a vibe for where you're at in the neighborhoods that you're going to be in. I think the heat maps thing is also really great. It'll show you where people feel comfortable running at least. Yeah. And then, if you're by yourself, I definitely wouldn't go really early in the morning. Tell someone where you're going. It's always a great safety tip. And then you can also ask other runners in the area. So you could call up a local running store and ask them where people run. Find a good park. I know in Boston, it's a running city. It's Boston, right? So there was so many great places to run and run right out of the hotel. The next day I went to run by myself and it was just awesome. But you could also find some parks. So there they have Boston Common. They have the river is right there, the Charles River, and they've got like this greenway that goes along it and across it. And so you could just run all over. But if you were somewhere else, you could find a big park, kind of like we did in Portland. And that's going to be a safer spot than just like, going outside. And worst comes to worst, maybe your hotel has a treadmill. That would be sad. We're talking about running as a way to explore. But
and that brings me to like, is it worth it to run on a treadmill when you're vacationing? You want to explore. Look at these great transitions. You want to explore, but like you want to get a run in. Is it worth it to get on a treadmill? I say no. If you're in a new place, go out and go for a walk or go on a tour or something. Take advantage of where you are. I oftentimes try to take into account how active I am on a vacation when thinking about whether I should run or not. If I'm super active and I've walked a ton that day and went on a hike, I'm not going to get back to my hotel and be like, now I need to do a 5-mile run. Like, give yourself credit for how active you've been. I know there were a ton of days where in Portland exploring the city where I had like 25,000 steps.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, and on a day like that, like give yourself credit for being super active, and maybe you don't necessarily need to get a run in that day. One of my favorite like non-running, but I was active vacations was I had a layover in Washington, D.C. At Reagan International Airport on the way to Pittsburgh. It was a last-minute flight, and the only one I could get had a 5-hour layover in D.C. But it was the airport in D.C. where you can get on the train and be in the middle of D.C. in minutes. So I had one pack, that was all I brought with me. And when I got to the airport in D.C., I changed my clothes. This was last summer, so it was hot. Changed my clothes into like some running clothes, put my running shoes on, and got on the train with my pack and walked all around the mall in D.C. Awesome. It was so cool. Saw all the monuments. It was awesome. So I did this long walk, started my Strava to see how far I went, and it was super fun. Took selfies at all the monuments, and then, then went back to the airport, changed out of my sweaty running clothes, got a coffee because I was super tired. It was exhausting. And then, got on my flight for the rest of the way to Pittsburgh. So it was really fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really fun and kind of just like an adventure that I wasn't expecting to have, but you can turn a layover in some places into,
that's
vacation.
Awesome. That's awesome. I feel like similarly, I think my first day in Boston, they've got the Freedom Trail there, and we just walked for miles.
Yeah.
And did not need to run, but I did need to drink lots of water.
Still drink water.
And public transportation is also great in big cities if you're traveling. And you can also use that if you don't want to do like a loop. You could do we got like one of those cards, for 7-day pass. You can get on the train as much as you want. You could go out and then get the train and bring it back.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Or buses or whatever.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, let us know your tips. Where's the coolest place you've run? Post a picture of it so we can see. And what are your tips for running while you're on a trip? I definitely wouldn't pass it up. If you can go for a run somewhere new, it's awesome. My other tip is forget your pace. Just enjoy it. There were a lot of times where I was running and I saw something I wanted to take a picture of or whatever. Like, just stop and take a picture of it. It doesn't necessarily have to be your fastest run because imagine all the cool things you'll run past.
Yeah. Do you have some favorite, I guess, places that you've run, or even just this past summer in Portland? Like, what are some of the coolest things you saw on your run?
Yeah, I loved running at Washington Park in Portland. The trees, the vegetation was so different. Big redwood trees. I just kept thinking it looked like Jurassic Park. Like, the ferns on the ground, and I really enjoyed the mild weather. It was in the 70s. I mean, I almost wore a long sleeve shirt. I mean,
That's
maybe
awesome.
I did wear a long sleeve shirt. It was cool.
Yeah.
And just the trees were awesome. I really enjoyed trails, and I really enjoyed how different the trails were.
That's awesome.
What about you?
Yeah, loved running in Boston. It was so cool where I was at. I was just like a mile away from the river, and so all those awesome trails along the river, like a mile away from Boston Common, their big park there. And then I was also like a mile away from the Boston Marathon finish. So the first run I went on with my friend Hannah, we went on a long run. We went by the river. We went across the river. We suddenly were like, I think we're on campus. We're like on MIT's campus.
Cool.
And then came back, went through the Common up Beacon Hill. It was like everywhere you went. You were like, oh, this is a famous thing.
Yep.
This is a famous thing.
Yep.
Which is so cool. And like you said, we totally forgot, just would stop, take pictures.
Yeah.
Like just enjoying using it as a way to explore. And then the next day I went on my own run and ran right on over to the finish line of the Boston Marathon.
How cool.
And they have it painted right there in the street. I started to run away and there was like, oh, I need to go back and take some video in case we use this for Terra Girls.
Yep.
It was just a cool run because it was just like everywhere you went, you were somewhere else famous. And,
Yeah.
And it's just a cool city.
Yeah.
I also just love running on the beach. I feel like I got so many family vacation memories, and that was like my me time there with my family. I'm like, I'm gonna go on a run.
Right.
Yeah. Wear shoes if you're running on the beach. Pro tip.
Yeah.
You'll want to run barefoot, and then you'll regret everything.
You'll regret it. Yeah.
But that's also really fun because you can collect shells on the way. I found lots of shark teeth, and
Oh, that's super
you can
cool.
stop and like go in the water for a minute, and
Yeah. Cool job.
But yeah, coolest run probably recently on my mind is the one in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, tell us where you've been running, and if you're traveling, maybe where you plan to run. So what you're going to use to pack and how you're going to find your runs. A couple things we wanted to remind you of. We are still in the middle of our Terra Girls book club, our second book, Donald Miller's A Million Miles in 1,000 Years. This is one of our favorite Donald Miller books. Definitely super inspirational. Read it if you're a runner. Read it if you're not a runner. So we're going to be talking about it in the next couple weeks. We have a couple copies here at the store that are lightly read with our Terra Girls Book Club sticker for $10, paperback. So if you need a copy, give us a call. We'll hold one for you. But we want to make sure you get one of these in your hands.
And then don't forget that we have our last Summer Sizzler race. So Friday night at 7, you will want to be there. This is our swag for this last race. So it's actually a really awesome insulated like lunchbox, picnic bag, whatever you want to call it. Perfect for your vacation.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's insulated. Nice little handle, this little outside pocket. And then of course, if you've run all 3 races with us, you will get to get your pair of gooders as well. So join us for this last Summer Sizzler. Even if it's your first one, we'd love to have you. It's just a fun evening race. Like we've enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, these Summer Sizzlers have been great. We did a 5K on Friday night at 7 in May, June, and July this summer, and gave race swag. So we didn't do t-shirts, but we did Terra branded Frisbees and cold cups, and now for the 3rd month you get this lunch bag. So we're super excited about it. Join us. You can find the information at our website. But yeah, we're excited about this finishing up the Summer Sizzler series, and congratulations to everyone who's done 3. We're giving away those Gooder sunglasses, which are super popular, and a lot of people, it has been their inspiration to join us for all 3. So we're excited to be giving those out. So.
All right, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I hope you guys are enjoying your summers as well, getting some time off, getting to explore running and non-running. Tell us what you're up to in the comments, and we will see you next time.
All right.
Thanks. Bye.
See ya.